terdapat di lebih dari 40 provinsi dan di luar negeri.
Recording in progress.
Bahan ajar mudah didapat.
Anda sedang mendengarkan UT Radio, Open Education.
Diikuti berbagai macam profesi, mencetak lulusan berkualitas, universitas terbuka tanpa batas.
Yaitu dengan diresmikannya Universitas Terbuka.
Berdiri pada 4 September 1984, UT langsung berlari untuk menciptakan inovasi dan terobosan baru dalam bidang pendidikan tinggi terbuka dan jarak jauh di tanah air. Lahirnya UT membuktikan komitmen pemerintah untuk memeratakan akses pendidikan tinggi yang berkualitas tanpa batas. Hampir 2 juta alumni UT tersebar di tanah air dan mancanegara dengan beragam profesi dan keahlian. Hal itu menunjukkan UT telah berhasil melaksanakan mandat pemerintah. Kemajuan teknologi, perubahan kebutuhan masyarakat, tuntutan pemerintah, menjadikan UT sebagai institusi pendidikan yang matang, kuat, dan visioner.
Universitas terbuka sudah memiliki fondasi yang kuat dalam memanfaatkan digital learning ke depan.
Tinggi, terjangkau biayanya, terjamin kuat
Dengan
berkembang, maju, besar, dan terpercaya.
dan maju bersama dalam tatanan baru UT-PTN-BH.
Good afternoon, Dr. Jiri Patoka.
Selamat pagi dari kota Praha. Nice to meet you.
Good morning in Praha. I am Agung Sastrawan. I will help you to lead this lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will follow the lecture from Dr. Jiri Patoka. The topic is about the scientific writing. In this event, Dr. Pitoka, besides the lecturer from Universitas Terbuka, also present some of our students from all over the country, especially the student in the last semester who will start to write the scientific paper. Before we start, we will read the curriculum vitae of Dr. Jiri Patoka. Dr. Jiri Patoka was born in Rakovnik town in 1978. He earned his PhD in Life Science in 2015 at the Czech University of Life Sciences. Since 2018 until now, he is an associate professor at the Department of Zoology of Fisheries, Faculty of Agrobiology, Food and Natural Resources at Czech University of Life Sciences. Now, today, Dr. Jiri Pitoka, this is not the first lecturer, maybe this is the third, Dr. Pitoka, you present your lecture at Universitas Terbuka. Dr. Pitoka will present the scientific writing that will be very useful for the lecturer from Universitas Terbuka. Dr. Jiri Pitoka, to present your lecturer, please, Dr. Pitoka.
Thank you very much for a nice introduction. And now I would like to share my screen to start the lecture. Okay, so do you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So the scientific writing, how to find, how to obtain, and how to cite your data. Just a short presentation at the beginning, and then we will follow with the worksheet, and I will show you how to construct the scientific paper. At first, what is the science? Science is a knowledge, simply. Some progress with new trends, and scientific effort is strongly related with outputs. Outputs, you can imagine the mosaic of various types of scientific data which are published in scientific papers, in scientific journals, and your finding is a pebble in this mosaic, which can be included in general knowledge of humans. If you will continue with your scientific work, you will increase your reputation, and the reputation will lead to new possibilities to cooperate with other researchers over the globe, and you can produce more pebbles, more scientific outputs, more articles and publications, and so on, which can be included also in the mosaic of the general knowledge. So, increasing reputation and possibilities to cooperation will produce more possibilities how to obtain the data, how to publish your findings, and so on. And the reputation is increasing as well. This is the point. And more pebbles are included. So, the scientific writing is the way how to present your findings, your data. And this is the final step of your scientific work. Your research will produce some data sets and so on, which have to be published. Because not presented findings are no findings. Without publication, nobody will care about your data because there will be no highlights of your data, and these data will be completely lost when the researcher, like this guy, will like this guy, when the researcher will gone, so the data are lost without the publication. Therefore, we have to focus on scientific writing, and this can be fun and also satisfaction for researchers who can say, look, here are my findings, and this is the paper, and the publication is satisfaction for me. When you will produce the papers and add the pebbles in the mosaic of science, you will be successful researcher, and your data will be not lost, but will be cited by other researchers. And this is the motivation for researchers, how to continue, how to ask also some support for their work from the government, from some institutions and NGOs and so on. And when you will be successful writer, scientific writer, the author, you will obtain the support and some new possibilities how to continue with your work. Okay, this is the end of the presentation, and now we will continue with the worksheet. Okay, do you see the Word file? Is it working?
Not yet, sir. It's just blank.
Okay, yeah. So I will show you how to prepare the draft of the scientific paper. It is worth mentioning that as many researchers, as many approaches how to do this step. Therefore, I can present my way, and it is up to you if you will consider to follow me or if you will build your own way. At the beginning, we have to prepare the sheet. I mean, some formal requirements which include the font, usually Times New Roman, the size of the font, usually 12, no spaces, additional spaces, and also the lining 1.5 usually, or 1.15, in some cases 2, and also the page numbers are included. On the bottom of the page, okay, and also line numbering continuously. Okay, so now we have the sheet, and we can prepare the chapters. The first one is title. Second one, authors. Third one, affiliations. Fourth one, corresponding author. Abstract. Keywords. Introduction. Material and methods. The methodological section. Results. Discussion. Conclusion. Acknowledgements. References. Figure descriptions. And supplementary material. Okay, now switch to English, British English, or American English, depending on the target journal. It is also worth mentioning that scientific journals and magazines have their rules, which are mandatory for the authors, and you have to follow the guideline of the specific journal, which is the target journal of your paper. On the other hand, in some cases, you will prepare the paper before the target journal is chosen. So this is the general draft, which can be modified a little bit by specific rules of the journal, but this one can be used for the most of the scientific journals. And now we will prepare some paper as example. The title is the most important part of your paper for the first sight of the readers, because many of them will focus on the title, and after reading the title, they will consider to continue with the rest of the article or stop the reading. Therefore, the title has to be sexy for the readers, so interesting for them. We will choose some topic related to Indonesia. For example, I'm focused. My field are biological invasions, so I will choose a related topic like kangaroos. Archie invaded Papua. So, Brachyurus clarkii is scientific name, therefore it is written as italicized, and it is freshwater crayfish. So, this title can be interesting for some readers who are experts in the field, but the most of them, some biologists who are not focused on freshwater crayfish, lobster air. So, this paper will be not interesting for them in many cases, and you have to grab their attention, because as many readers, as many possibilities how to highlight your paper by citations. Citations are very important. Therefore, the broad readership is very important in this regard. So how to modify the title to be more appropriate for the readers? So, Brachyurus clarkii is the freshwater crayfish, but who cares about the Latin name? Just experts in the field. But if you would like to inform the general public or the general readers about this creature, about this species, it is beneficial to bigger font. Yes, for sure. Thank you very much. Is it better?
Yeah,
now?
it's much better. Yeah, it's enough.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So, if you will write freshwater Brachyurus clarkii invaded Papua, so it is better for understanding of the readers. On the other hand, Papua is just part of Indonesia, and Papua is interesting for researchers who are focused on this island or western part of the island, which is the territory of Indonesia. But if you will write Indonesia, something like this. Freshwater crayfish Brachyurus clarkii invaded Indonesia with Papua as a case. So it is more promising, because Indonesia is the largest island country on the planet. So many researchers are focused on this region in Southeastern Asia. And Papua is just the case. One island, two provinces. So it is example of Indonesian territory where the crayfish was recorded. It was not recorded in reality, of course. On the other hand, we found the crayfish, this species, in Java Island, and the possibility to be introduced to Papua is maybe expected as a wrong scenario for future. So therefore, I consider to prepare this title. But fortunately, this crayfish is not presented in Papua currently. But yeah, now we are working with the idea that it was recorded. So freshwater crayfish Percambarus clarki invaded Indonesia with Papua as a case. Nice, interesting for the readers, and moreover, you can prepare a nickname of your title of your paper. What I mean, you can prepare the nickname at the beginning of the title, which can be used as a meme for the readers, because when you will read two similar articles and one of them has the nickname, so it can be easy to be followed by the readers and discuss about the paper. They can talk about the new paper with the nickname. Do you know this paper, and so on? And it's like a meme, much better than the title without the nickname. On the other hand, some journals do not allow the nickname in the title, so therefore it is mandatory for the authors. But when it is allowed, so you can use the nickname. I mean, in this case, something like American and something like this. North American warrior. It's a not a scientific title, just really nickname of the article, and the scientific title will follow. Freshwater crayfish Percambarus clarki invaded Indonesia with Papua as a case. I know that the crayfish is not human warrior, but in the freshwater environment, the crayfish has an armor, the carapace, and some weapons like claws. So therefore, we can call this creature as a warrior in the freshwater environment. And the native range of Percambarus clarki is North America. Simply, North American warrior can be accepted. And North American warrior is a nickname of this paper. And when you will talk about North American warrior in Indonesia, so it is much better than to say, I have some new information about Percambarus clarki in Indonesia, because Percambarus clarki is a specific name which is of interest of experts in the field. Now, this title, North American warrior, freshwater crayfish Percambarus clarki invaded Indonesia with Papua as a case, is a perfect example of a title which can be interesting not only for researchers focused on Papua, not only for researchers focused on Indonesia, but also for researchers who are dealing with the freshwater crayfish in general, including North American species and so on. And this is some case of biological invasions caused by the freshwater crayfish. And therefore, the readership is broader than at the beginning, and this is the benefit for your scientific work for sure. This is my recommendation, how to prepare the title of your paper. Next part, authors. You have to write all authors who are contributed on the work, on the study, but in some cases, when I don't know, some students or helpers will help you in the field, for example. So these can be mentioned just in the acknowledgement section. Authors are researchers or students or some stakeholders who contributed to the paper as a they have some crucial role, and this is the team. Two positions, two roles of the authors are specific: the first author and the last one, the senior author. I will write some examples here, like this is my colleague, my Indonesian PhD student, Surya Genta Akmal. Dr. Daisy Bobor from Bogor Zoological Museum can be the second author. And for example, Dr. Jan Wittner from IPB as well. Juliana from Terbuka University, and me, and the last one. So now we have some author team, co-authors who worked on this paper. Surya Genta Akmal is the first author, and the first authors usually write the draft and prepare the paper. The senior author is the role which is specific for the manager of the work, and the guy who is responsible for the financial support, and usually this senior researcher prepare the idea and some design of the paper. And the other authors, like second, third, fourth, and so on, are invited to contribute partly on the paper, like some new data addition and some specific analysis and editing the whole text and so on. So this is some example of the author team. The first author is usually the writer, the senior author is the manager, and the others are on the same position. And doesn't matter if the author is on the second place or the fourth place, is the same. And in some cases, when you will cooperate with the large authorship, for example, more than 20 authors, it is possible to sort them alphabetically from the second to the not last, but before last position. Okay, so affiliations. What is the affiliation? Affiliation is the full address of the institution related to specific authors. These institutions are labeled like the number, superscript is necessary, and the same numbers are presented. Is enough. Presented here. The number one is my institution, and therefore my name has also the number one, even if I am here in this example on the last position. So the address of my institution is Department of Zoology and Fisheries, Faculty of Agrobiology, Food and Natural Resources, Czech University of Life Sciences, Prague. And now the address, it's the street and the number 129. Sudo, Czech Republic. This is the full affiliation of my institution. department is usually the first, and the name of the university or research institute or museum and so on is the last one. Do not start with the university, start with the department. And also the zip code can be included, like this one. Okay, so Genta has the same affiliation as mine, but also can focus, can use the same affiliation as Dr. Jon Wittner from IPB. It is highlighted by the number, but because this one is before this one, so the number will be changed like this. Right. It is possible to present more than one affiliation for the specific authors. There are no problems. Jon will most probably work with some other affiliation, and therefore this one will be modified. And all affiliations will be written in the same way as the number one. It is not necessary to fill all of them. Of course, this is some example how to prepare the affiliation. And in some cases, the journals will ask for the English name of your city or town or some local name. In the Czech language, Prague is Praha. So this can be also presented in Indonesian affiliations, in Bahasa Indonesia, also the name of the university, like Universitas Terbuka, and so on, and can be used legally. It depends on the communication with the editor and the rules of the journal. The affiliations are complete. In some cases, when, for example, here will be another author, my very good friend Rico Jericho, who is also Indonesian from Wonogiri. He will have a specific affiliation because he's not academic staff in any institutions. So how to do this? You can identify him as independent researcher and use the street address and the town and so on. So this is the way how to add some authors who are important for the study, but these are not academics or students. And now the corresponding author has to be identified. The corresponding author is the author who is responsible for communication with the journal, with the editor, with the office, and usually this is the author who wrote the text. So corresponding author usually is the first one, but this can be also the senior author in some cases. I will be here as a corresponding author, which is indicated usually by asterisk. And pardon. And it is necessary to add some contact information, usually the email address. Pardon. Okay, so add. This is my contact information, and in some cases also the phone number can be included. you have my contact information here, and do not hesitate to ask me personally on something if you have some, I don't know, interesting data to be discussed and so on. So I'm open for the communication, and you can use this way, and you can find me also via WhatsApp and so on. So this is the contact information related to the contact author, the corresponding author. And if you have some authors who contribute equally on the paper, you can identify them like some specific symbol. For example, we can choose this one. And here can be written that these authors contributed equally. And it means that there are more than one authors which are the first author. Genta and Dr. Wawor are by this way indicated, both of them are indicated as the first author. This is a detail, but it can be very important in some cases when you would like to dedicate the paper to some specific project and so on. So this can be beneficial, and this is the legal way how to add more than one corresponding first authors. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me immediately via the chat room. Or you can switch on your microphone if you wish and ask me immediately. The next part of the paper is abstract. Abstract is usually not longer than 200 or 250 words. Usually no more, but it depends on the specific rules of the journal. And give me a minute, I will find some example. Pardon, again. Okay, so here is an example of the abstract, which is prepared by, the structure is prepared by the Nature journal, the top journal on the globe. So this can be beneficial for you to follow this way. And you can see that there are some parts of the abstract highlighted by different colors. And these colors are specific for specific information. It is not mandatory to follow this way exactly by the number of words and sentences and so on. But as an example of the structure, this is a perfect. You can see that at the beginning, there is some basic introduction, basic information about the background of the problem which you are focused on. And the second part is the detailed background, more focused, comprehensible to scientists and other related disciplines. The yellow part, indicated here by yellow part, so this is the general problem. which is addressed by your study. The blue one is a summary about your goal, about your main finding, main result. You can start this sentence as "here we show" or "here we present," and some similar phrases. The green part is explaining your results, and you can also present some comparison with previously published findings by other authors or in your previous papers and so on. This is the green part. After that, some relationship to the general context is beneficial. And the last part, the red one, is focused on some perspective and also recommendation. How to improve the situation, what to do, how to help to do something, how to overlap your findings to the practice, and so on. This is some brief conclusion of your paper. So this is the way how to prepare the abstract. There are no references and usually no abbreviations, with exception of the generally accepted abbreviations like I don't know, USA for the United States of America and so on. So our abstract is finished. Again, usually not more than 250 words. Keywords. What are the keywords? Keywords are used by searching engine like Google Scholar and some others for identification of your paper when somebody will focus on some problem and would like to find some related publications. So keywords are very important because together with the title, keywords are responsible for highlighting of your paper for the scientific community. Be careful and do not repeat the same words as are presented in the title because it is redundant. These terms, these words are just presented. You have to use some other words, and these words are presented in singular, not in plural. Keep this in your mind. So the title again is North American warrior freshwater crayfish Plecomborus clarki invaded Indonesia with Papua as a case. So North American crayfish is there, but we can choose to follow the common name of the species. That's one crayfish is okay for our purpose. Family can be also included, and Asia, because Indonesia is a part of Asia. Biological invasion, not invasions. It has to be written in singular. Biological invasions, and maybe also aquaculture, because this crayfish is usually produced in outdoor aquaculture and also in some indoor facilities. Aquaculture is the main source, therefore it is written here because when we will prepare the paper like this one, we will talk about the aquaculture in the main text body. Okay, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enough. You can use more keywords if you want, and if the journal allows this opportunity. Usually 6 or 8 is the maximum. And now, how to continue with the writing of the paper? The abstract, as I mentioned before, is usually prepared as the final step because this is the summary and some introduction and the summary of the text, and it is beneficial to write the abstract as the final step after the whole text is finished, because when you will choose to modify something and the abstract will be finished before the modification, you have to modify also the abstract, and you can make some mistakes in this regard. So my recommendation is to write the abstract as the final step. And now, how to continue? Usually the first part of the paper which you will choose to be written is methodological section, material and methods, because you will prepare some how to say, step by step, some guide for some other researchers who would like to repeat your experiment, who would like to read how you obtained the findings, the samples, and so on. So the material and methods is the first section, because you have the data, you know what you have in your hands. So present these in the material and methods section. This chapter has a structure, and this structure is not mandatory, but it is beneficial to follow this structure also in other parts, in other chapters, I mean results, discussion, and conclusion. So in this case, about the North American crayfish, we can use something like study locality, data collecting, data analysis, and this is enough, I guess. So study locality will be focused on the Papua province when the crayfish was recorded, and you will write some details about the locality which are necessary for the paper. I mean the morphology of the freshwater body and some related details. Data collecting. This subchapter, this subheading is about some information about your field work in this regard. So there will be written some a day of the sampling and month and year, and the approach which was used as a method how to catch the crayfish in the field, for example, trapping or catching them by hand and so on. If you used some crayfish bait, so it has to be specified here, and so on. So simply everything about your data obtaining, data collecting has to be written here. Data analysis. This can be focused on some, in this case, identification of the species, how to identify the species by morphological analysis or genetic analysis and so on, and what was necessary to interpret your data. And moreover, we can add one more. Climate matching. In this regard, we can prepare some climate matching analysis which can compare the native range of the species and the target region, in this case, Indonesia. And based on the outputs, we can say where are the habitats which are suitable for Procambarus clarki when introduced there, to establish there the new populations based on the data set. Okay, so this structure of methodological section can be overlapped to the results and discussion, because this is the story. You can imagine the scientific paper as a specific story, and this story has to be easy for the readers how to follow the structure of the paper. So this can be beneficial to present your findings in the same structure as the material and methods. Results. Results is the chapter which is focused on simple description of your findings, of your data. There are no citations, no discussion, nothing, just the simple presentation of your rough and also detailed data. I mean, in the case of the study locality, you will present the Papua province, coordinates of your record, and some details about the locality. The next one, the next paragraph will be focused on the records. I mean the day. Pardon. No. About the time when you captured the crayfish, and also the population, abundance, establishment, or not, and something like this. So simply what you found in the field, data analysis. So what was found in the field, the identification, I mean the name of the species based on the analysis. If this crayfish is, for example, host of some parasites and something like this. And the climate matching can show us the habitats in risk in Indonesia, and all of these results can be related to some specific figures or tables. I mean, this can be the map. Here can be, for example, table on quantity of the crayfish, which can be collected in some various sampling events and so on. Here can be the photo of the species, and here can be the assessment map, something like this. This is important because your results are not only the text, but also the figures and tables and maps and pictures and so on. And all of these have to be presented or linked directly in the text. So the map can be, for example, the figure 1, and the map, the picture, will be submitted as a separate file, and here is just the link on the figure. This information is important for reviewers and editors, and also for the readers in general, because the figure will be placed in the published paper here when you would like to present the figure. Just indicate the position by fig number 1 or figure number 1 and so on. So results without the discussion, there are no opinions and so on, just the brief presentation or rough presentation of your data with no comments. Comments will follow in the discussion, but Now we have to focus back to the introduction section. Where is it? Here. Because now we know what is in our hands, which data we are cooking in the paper, and we can prepare the background of the story. In some cases, you can also start with the introduction, not with the material and methods, as I mentioned before, but if you have some idea what to do, but not design it, the study yet. So you can prepare the introduction as a background for designing your experiment. So start with the material and methods or start with the introduction. But the structure of the introduction is the same for sure. I mean, you have to start with the general statement and step by step, paragraph by paragraph, continue with the story, and at the last paragraph, you have to say the reason why you decided to make this research, to prepare the study. So the general meaning in this case is that biological invasions cause huge biological invasions cause the huge environmental and socio-economic losses on the planet everywhere. This is the general statement, which is true, and this is the start of your story. You have to also mandatory add some references in this case, and you have to choose some general publication focused on biological invasions, not only in Indonesian perspective, but from the global perspective. You can use one or more, usually not more than 3 or 4. In this case, 1 or 2 is enough for sure. And my recommendation is to use in the general statement some references which are highly cited by other authors, because when you will choose some paper with a poor number of citations, so simply in this case, when this statement is general and the attention of the broad readership is expected, so the paper with a low number of citations is not accepted by the general community, and the paper with high numbers of citations is the best one for this purpose. Choose highly cited papers. So biological invasions cause huge environmental and socio-economic losses on the globe. This is the general statement in the first paragraph. Each paragraph has to focus on the specific information, not on the more ideas, hypotheses, and information and so on. Just one general information in one paragraph is enough. But you will follow this first sentence with some other sentences, like that biological invasions can cause biodiversity homogenization, and there are some ecosystems which are endangered, and so on. And these information are strongly related with the general statement and can be presented in the first paragraph. But the second paragraph will focus on some in deeper detail on the story. So biological invasions are currently mentioned in the first paragraph. Now we can focus on the freshwater environment and invasive species in the freshwater environment. The biological invasions are not only in freshwaters, but also in marine and also in terrestrial environment for sure. But we would like to grab the attention of the reader and focus on your story. And you are referring about the freshwater crayfish. So freshwater invasive species and biological innovations in freshwater environment is the statement of the second paragraph. The next one will be invasive crustaceans. The lobster artavar is crustacean. So now we can refer about the invasive crustaceans in freshwaters because the paragraph above we focused on the freshwater environment. So we will continue with the freshwaters and focus on crustaceans and focus on invasive crustaceans. The next paragraph will be invasive crayfish. There are plenty of successful invasive crayfish species on the planet, and Procambarus clarki is one of them. So invasive crayfish, all of them are in freshwater environment, so you can refer on the invasive crayfish here. Procambarus clarki. Now you can focus directly on the species on Procambarus clarki, which is the invasive crayfish. So not only in Indonesian perspective, but globally. So Procambarus clarki is the next step. When the species is the first mentioned in the text, you have also to write the authority and the year of the formal description. I'm not sure about the year, so this is just example. Procambarus clarki and Gerard, 1895. In the rest of the text, you will refer just on the Procambarus clarki without the authority and the year of the formal description. This is just when the species is the first mention. The next paragraph will focus on Indonesian crayfish, because there are some native crayfish which can be endangered by Procambarus clarki and so on. And this is the story. The last paragraph now will be focused on the results, as I mentioned before. Why to prepare this study? So you can say this paragraph will be ended by some information about that the native crayfish can be endangered by North American crayfish, because North American crayfish are vectors of some specific pathogen of crayfish plague, and Indonesian crayfish are sensitive to this disease. So we know that Indonesian crayfish can be endangered and risk by this way, and this will be written in these paragraphs. So the last one can summarize this idea and say that therefore we decided to fairly specific and influences to on potential and spread of Procambarus clarki. Something like this, because the meaning is that we decided to focus on some specific localities, not on the whole Indonesia, because it was out of our time possibilities and financial possibilities, for example. So we have some opportunity how to monitor some localities in mentioned provinces in New Guinea Island. So this is the reason, because Indonesian crayfish, the native crayfish, are living in these two provinces. So we decided to try to catch North American crayfish there and refer on this in this paper. So the title is referring on Procambarus clarki in Papua, for sure. But the introduction section is insight in the story, and in the rest of the chapters, you will focus on some specific details. And the last paragraph of the introduction is how to say, this is the information for the readers why you decided to do this. This
Excuse me,
sentence
Dr.
is
Patoka, you still have 3 more minutes.
just only only 4 minutes.
Okay, 4-5 minutes, okay.
Okay, so thanks. You will continue with the discussion. The discussion will be focused on the findings and the results, and here you will agree or disagree with some previously published information which are in the introduction section. The structure of the discussion is similar to the structure of the introduction section and structure of the methodological section and so on. And here, this is the place for your opinions, for the discussion with the previously published information and so on. You can say we agree or disagree with something, and you will add some citations also in the text. And this is the important part of your story, because you can say what follows from your findings. And the last paragraph is conclusion. This can be presented as the separate chapter or included in the discussion as the last paragraph. In the conclusion section, you will summarize or highlight your findings and recommendation which is related to your findings. Here you can say how to improve the situation, how to, in this case, how to ban the species in Indonesia because it is high risky, or what to do, how to improve the legislative regulations, and how to further educate the general public, and so on. This is the conclusion. In the acknowledgement section, you will say we would like to thank some specific projects and also some helpers. Do not use some titles, academic titles like professor and so on, just the names. And also when some native speaker proofread the English, which is beneficial for you, of course. So say we would like to thank the native speaker. This is the acknowledgement section. And references which were used in the text. So these references are listed here, sorted alphabetically, and these references have a specific format which is related to the target journal. In figure captions, you will say some information about your figures, like maps and tables and photos and so on. These figure captions are self-explaining, so do not use some specific abbreviations which are explained in the text, but you have to write the full names of the species and so on in each caption, because the figure and the caption can be presented separately in some cases and have to be self-explaining. And in the supplementary material, you can prepare some data sets which are too long, too large for the presentation in the printed paper. So these tables, for example, and photos and so on, can be uploaded as a supplementary electronic material in the journal web page and linked in your paper, and the reader can click on the link, and the supplementary material will be shown on the web page of the journal. So this is the end of our story. We can discuss widely about the scientific writing. So this is just the brief introduction, how to construct your paper, how to design your study, how to prepare your publication. I hope that this can be beneficial for you, and I'm open for the wide communication about some interesting topics. If you want to continue in the communication, you can use my contact information like email address or handphone and so on. And yeah, so maybe we can meet personally within my next trip to Indonesia next summer and so on. I will be also at the Terbuka University. So thank you very much for your attention. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you, Dr. Patoka. It's very wonderful and very useful presentation. Before we start with ask and question session, let me try to translate in Bahasa Indonesia because some of our students don't understand English very well. First is about the title of the writing. The title, judul ya, judul sangat penting bagi teman-teman. Bagaimana judul itu dibuat semenarik mungkin bagi para pembaca. Seperti tadi Pak Patoka memberi judul itu American Warriors. Nah itu sebenarnya nggak ada hubungannya dengan perang, tetapi ini untuk menarik perhatian. Jadi pejuang Amerika menginvasi crayfish di Papua seperti itu. Jadi menarik, apa sih ini? Nah itu jadi judul itu sangat penting dibuat sedemikian rupa. Kemudian di dalam penulisan autos, kalau lebih dari satu, ada autos pertama, kedua, ketiga, dan ada namanya corresponding autos. Itu adalah penulis yang akan nanti berhubungan dengan jurnalnya, dan first author itu biasanya yang menulis paper. Kemudian ada juga author yang senior, ya seperti itu, yang menyediakan dana dan sebagainya. Kemudian untuk afiliasi, yaitu di mana instansinya ya, universitas terbuka, misalnya begitu, ya, afiliasi tulis. Nah, kemudian masuk ke dalam abstrak. Abstrak itu terdiri dari 200 sampai 250 kata. Jadi abstrak itu biasanya berisi tentang tujuan penelitian, ya sedikit latar belakang, kemudian metode, hasil dan kesimpulan. Jadi tidak terlalu panjang. Kemudian di sana ada keywords. Nah, hal yang baru kita pelajari dari keywords ini adalah kata kunci, tidak mengulangi apa yang sudah ditulis di title. Tadi Pak Patoka sudah menuliskan, jadi kata kunci adalah sesuatu yang berbeda, sehingga nanti orang mencari itu lebih luas pencariannya. Kemudian masalah material and methods, di sana ada sub-sub judul ya, misalnya dari data koleksi, data analisis, dan seterusnya. Nah, di situ boleh ada sub-sub judul. Kemudian di dalam setelah metode itu ada hasil itu dituliskan apa yang menjadi hasil daripada penelitian temuannya. Kemudian ada diskusi. Nah, diskusi di sini adalah masalah setuju atau tidak setuju didukung oleh referensi ya, pustaka. Nah, disinilah penulis menyampaikan pendapatnya. Kemudian tiba konklusi itu, kesimpulannya itu merupakan penekanan daripada temuan, jadi hasil dan yang kita lakukan. Kemudian kembali ke pertama itu adalah masalah introduction. Nah, di dalam introduction ini memang biasanya orang itu tidak menulis itu terakhir, biasa introduction itu dia menulis mulai dari metode atau bahkan ada yang mulai dari temuan ya. Nah, nanti mulai menulis introduction. Kenapa Pak Jerry tadi menyampaikannya di akhir itu? Nah, di sana akan ada disampaikan masalah secara umum ya, secara umum dulu, kemudian lebih mengerucut, lebih fokus ke masalahnya sampai akhirnya diakhiri dengan tujuan daripada penulisan artikel ini atau tujuan dari penelitian ini. Itulah teman-teman secara garis besar di dalam penulisan artikel ilmiah. Nah, sekarang now it's the time for ask and question. You can ask in Bahasa Indonesia and I'll try to help you to translate your question. You can write in the chat board or you can ask question orally in this session, please. Silakan teman-teman kalau ada pertanyaan yang ingin disampaikan kepada Dr. Patoka. Atau ada pertanyaan tertulis nggak tadi? You can ask in bahasa Indonesia and I'll help you to translate to Dr. Patoka. If there is no question from the floor, I'll try to ask question Dr. Patoka. Is the scientific writer is always based on the research result, or we can write the scientific paper from literature study, for example, or from what we call in scientific writing a collection from many researchers and try to summarize something like that.
Okay, so thank you very much for this question. Exactly, yes. You can prepare your experimental work, but also you can prepare some other type of scientific articles, like review articles, which are a summary of previously published information together as a one story, one comprehensive story. This is also legal way how to prepare some scientific paper. And moreover, you can also focus on some new method or some short communication. I mean, the paper focused on some how to say, detailed information about something. These papers are not so long, just about 2,000 words enough. And in comparison with the review paper, there are usually 40, 50 pages. So this is the how to say that there are many types of scientific papers which can be published in scientific journals. So you have to decide which paper is the perfect for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Any question from the audience? Teman-teman mahasiswa ada pertanyaan, silakan sampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia, or chatting mungkin tertulis ya, kalau tidak bisa bicara secara langsung. May we have another question, Dr. Patoka? Maybe you have another strategy or trick how to write our paper or scientific paper or topics that received from by the journal. It's not rejected. What is your experience in submitting your scientific paper?
So this is not easy. It's a hard job. How to show, how to present your paper and appropriate for the editors and reviewers. Usually, some papers are declined repeatedly, and you have to reformat them and submit to another journal. And it depends on the editor's decision. But if you will use the structure of the paper like this one, which was presented, so this can be the way how to accept your paper for the publication. And in my personal experience, so the most rapid progress was 2 weeks after submitting, the paper was accepted for the publication. But on the other hand, in some cases, it was more than 2 years. So it's depending on the decision of the editors and also on the time possibilities of the reviewers and so on. And so it's not easy to say which progress will be in your case when you will submit the paper. Be careful and be prepared on some time delays. It's normal.
Is it the joint research like what we will do, like between 2 or 3 countries? Is it have a bigger possibility for our people to accept? by the journal?
For sure. The international co-authorship is for sure beneficial. When you will publish some information as a part of the international author team, and there are some authors who are experienced with the high reputation. So there is the high probability that the paper will be written correctly and therefore will be also accepted for publication in some journal, for sure.
Okay. Thank you. I ask again, any other question from the audience? If there's no question, it's time for Dr. Patoka, if you want to conclude your
We still have one question, Mr.
Okay. Quick one, Pak Madi. Susanti, okay. This is one question from Anavia Susanti, Dr. Patoka.
Okay, so
would you mind to give us some tricks or suggestions for getting minimum presentation of plagiarism while writing an article?
Yeah. So the plagiarism is not allowed for sure. So therefore, when you would like to cite some information, do not take the sentence directly from the paper and place the same sentence in your text. You have to modify the phrase and so on, and that's it. Okay, and you have to just use the information from the sentence, not the sentence exactly. This is the way how to prepare your own text, not to make the plagiarism. And before the designing your study, you have to prepare the background about some problem, about some topic, to be sure that the same topic has never been surveyed and published by some other author teams. It is crucial for sure.
Do we need to use the plagiarism application like a Turnitin to check our percentage of similarity?
Yeah, so because I'm the writer, so I'm sure that I'm writing the text, and therefore there is no plagiarism. But if you would like to check the text before the submit to the journal, so yeah, you can use some software which is able to find some plagiarisms and so on. But if you will write the text, so it's not necessary because you know that you are the author and the writer, and there is no plagiarism.
Okay, this is another question from Kalisa Marcera. How can I make my writing more precise?
Okay, so I'm not sure if I understand correctly. If you mean the English in this case, or what is the meaning of the question? Is it the grammar and English, or what?
Maybe the grammar and the content. I think, yeah.
So okay, so you can use also some softwares like Grammarly and so on, or you can cooperate with some native speakers if you are not fluent in English. So it is the best way how to prepare the perfect text. And in some cases, you can prepare the data sets in Bahasa Indonesia and share the text with some other authors. For example, I am able to understand something in Bahasa, and with use of some translators, we can communicate directly. And finally, I am able to prepare the English text in good condition. Or you can cooperate with some native speakers like Americans and British researchers and so on, and they are precise. So this is the way how to go through the English obstacles.
Okay, the third question is, what if the results of our journal test requiring another test even though we have already written down the title, is the title can be changed and the content adjusted according to the additional text earlier?
Thanks for this question. For sure, when some reviewers or editor will ask some modification, you can modify also the title. This is not unusual. In some cases, the story is a little bit changed or modified, and the editor can ask some modification of the topic, which is more appropriate for the journal. And yes, my recommendation is to follow the recommendation of the editor and reviewers and to modify everything what they want, if you agree, of course. Yep.
The fourth question: how many of your papers that has been publicated globally? What are the similar structure and strategic in your opinion, so the paper can be published globally?
Okay, so global publication. If I understand correctly, so this is the publication of your paper in some scientific journal, which is included in Web of Science databases, because these journals are used by scientific community over the planet. And on the other hand, there are some journals which are focused on some local languages only. So, for example, if you will publish some text in Bahasa, just people who are able to read in Bahasa will read the text. But if you will publish your text in English in some scientific journal and on Web of Science and similar, so everybody can read the text. This is the global publication, I guess. And this is the aim of the scientific effort, because you can share your information, your data with all of people which are interested in the findings. And yes, this is very important. And how many of your papers? Currently, I have more than 72, I guess, scientific papers, and some others are in preparation. Yeah, so I'm satisfied in this output. And many of them are related to Indonesia, because I'm in touch with some academic staffs from IPB, Terbuka, Unsud, Tadulako University, and so on. And we are in communication about some data sets and findings from the freshwater environments and the invasive species of fish and crustaceans and so on. So more than 70 for me.
So among the 70 papers you publish, what is the topic about? It is almost similar or the same topic, for example, as a crawfish, freshwater, or about the fisheries, or you also publish another topics?
Yeah, so I'm focused not only on crayfish, but also on fish, and in some cases on some terrestrial invertebrates like cockroaches and some insects. And we are not focused, my team is not focused only on biological invasions, but also on formal descriptions of new species like crayfish from Papua and some others, and also on trade analysis, especially ornamental aquaculture and related pet trade, which are one of the main sources of non-native species globally. So the pet trade analysis is also my topic. And climate matching is my topic, because we can predict the spread of some species in some specific regions before their introduction there. This is very important, because we can ban the species and try to stop the possible introduction before it is done. And therefore, this is very beneficial for wildlife managers, how to mitigate the risks of invasive species. Yep.
Is it in your university? Is it the roadmap of your research? Is it very important? Because in our country, we have to follow our roadmap. So if we want to reach the full professor in our university, we have to have the roadmap of our research and publication. Do the same thing in your university?
I have my personal web page where the list of the publication is presented, and I'm also a member of ResearchGate, which is the scientific network where all scientific outputs are presented. And yeah, so it is easy to find my publications and everything related to the research topic by this way. For example, I can share the link in the chat room on the ResearchGate. So if somebody will be interested in these publications and some information, you can contact me also via ResearchGate.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Patoka.
Yeah.
Any other question, Mas Mahdi?
Last question.
Yeah.
So,
How to develop
Nadia
writing skill for scientific writing? This is the last question. From Nadia.
Yeah, in the chat room. How to develop writing skills and first. It's not easy to say how. It takes a time. The most important is the reading. You have to read the scientific papers related to your topic and build the background in your head. And after that, you can see some new ideas, new hypotheses which have to be tested, and you can imagine some experiments and so on. And moreover, in case, for example, of biological inventions and new species records in the wild, if you will find some creature in the wild, you have to be sure if it is interesting or not, or important to say, look, it is here, and I would like to publish this finding in some scientific paper. But without the background, without the information in your head, it is a hard job, mostly impossible to say which finding is interesting and which not. So, yeah, the skills will, how to say, the skills need practice. If you will write the text repeatedly, you will be better and better, and your papers will be accepted and not rejected and so on. But it takes a time, and you have to work intensively on scientific writing if you would like to be successful writer, scientist. So this is the crucial point.
Yeah, don't give up. If your paper is rejected, try again and try again.
Yeah. For sure.
Read a lot and practice a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
The background in reading is necessary, and therefore some knowledge of English language is also required. Without this, it is not so easy.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Patoka. Now it's the time for your closing remarks for our audience.
Yeah. So thank you very much for the attention. I'm happy that I was invited as a guest lecturer here, and I would like to continue with some other topics if possible, and hopefully we can meet together also in next session. And sorry for my virtual background. Currently, I see that it is the mirror. Pardon. So I don't know where is the setting, but never mind. Next time. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope that this presentation is beneficial for your ongoing activities and the publication effort, publication activity. And I wish you a good luck with your publications, with your papers. And if you would like to ask me something, do not hesitate to contact me via email or WhatsApp and so on. Thank you very much, Dr. Patoka. I really appreciate
your lecture, and then there is one very interesting quote: "No finding publication, no findings, because our finding will be lost."
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe someone will be find later, and then you will regret.
Yeah.
Okay, now Pak Madi, we will present the certificate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Wait for a minute.
Dr. Patoka, this is the certificate of appreciation. We apologize, our deans cannot attend the session because they have another task.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jiri Patoka, and then I hope next time you still have a time to give the lecture to our colleagues, the lecturer in the Universitas Terbuka, and also for our students.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
We have a photo session, sir.
Oh, photo session. Okay. Videonya dibuka ya, audience. Let's show your picture. And we have our picture session.
Ya, ditunggu teman-teman, kameranya dibuka.
Yeah.
Okay, in the first slide, I will count down 3, 2, 1. Second slide, 3, 2, 1. Third slide, 3, 2, 1. Okay, done with Mr. Agung.
Okay, thank you, Pak Madi, and thank you for all of ladies and gentlemen who attend this lecture. I hope this lecture very useful for all of you. See you in the next lecture from Dr. Patoka. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye. Wait, Dr. Edward. Yo, Pak Agung.
Yuk, mohon pamit ya.